Have you ever imagined giving up everything, a dream job, a comfortable life, the security everyone craves, to chase a dream that seems impossible? A dream that could lead you to bankruptcy or turn you into a legend? This is the story of Jeff Bezos, a man who abandoned Wall Street, bet everything on a crazy idea, and faced failure, doubt, and chaos to build the greatest online retail empire the world has ever seen, Amazon. But this isn't a story of easy success. It's a journey of courage, sacrifice, and an unrelenting obsession with turning the impossible into reality. Stay until the end, because Jeff Bezos' story will show you that limits are meant to be overcome. Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen was born on January 12, 1964, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. From the very beginning, his life was marked by challenges. His mother, Jacqueline Geisy, was just 17 years old when she became pregnant, still in high school, facing the burden of being a teenage mother in a society that offered little support to young women in her situation. Jeff's biological father, Ted Jorgensen, was a circus performer who worked as a unicyclist, an eccentric figure who abandoned the family shortly after his son's birth, leaving Jacqueline to raise the baby on her own. Years later, Ted wouldn't even remember Jeff, and the two would only meet briefly in 2012, when Ted was already ill, and Jeff was a world-famous billionaire. That meeting was cold and distant, showing how much his father's absence shaped Jeff's determination to forge his own path. Jacqueline, however, was a resilient woman. She went back to school at night, worked as a secretary during the day, and fought to give Jeff a chance at a future. When Jeff was 4 years old, she married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who had fled Fidel Castro's dictatorship at the age of 15, arriving in the United States with nothing but a suitcase and a dream of freedom. Mike worked tirelessly, studied engineering, and eventually became a petroleum engineer at Exxon. He adopted Jeff as his own son, giving him the surname the world would come to know, Bezos. Mike's influence was profound. He taught Jeff the value of hard work and perseverance, values that would be fundamental in his journey. Jeff's summers were spent at his maternal grandfather's ranch in Texas, a man named Lawrence Preston Gisay, whom Jeff called Pop. Lawrence was a former NASA engineer who had worked on space projects during the Cold War, and his intelligence and innovative spirit left an indelible mark on young Jeff. At the ranch, Jeff learned to fix tractors, build fences, and even vaccinate cattle, often improvising solutions with whatever was at hand. But what fascinated Jeff the most was taking things apart. Toys, radios, anything he could open to understand how it worked. Once, at the age of 10, he disassembled his own bed just to see how it was put together, much to his mother's dismay. "I always wanted to know how things were made," he would later say. That insatiable curiosity would be the seed of everything that came next. As a teenager, Jeff already showed signs that he wasn't an ordinary kid. When his family moved to Miami, he attended Miami Palmetto High School, where he stood out as a brilliant student, especially in science and math. Jeff was obsessed with technology. In an era when computers were still a novelty, he was already dreaming about what they could do. He was so dedicated that, during high school, he created an alarm system for his bedroom to keep his younger siblings, Mark and Christina, from entering without permission. That small project showcased not only his technical skill but also his creativity and sense of humor. Jeff also had an entrepreneurial side from an early age. He and his then-girlfriend, Ursula Werner, started a small summer camp called the Dream Institute for younger kids, where they taught science, reading, and even introduced basic programming concepts. The camp cost $600 per child, and they managed to attract 6 students, which was a small success for 2 teenagers. This was one of the first signs that Jeff had a natural talent for business. In 1982, Jeff enrolled at the prestigious Princeton University, initially to study physics. But physics was too theoretical for him. He wanted something practical, something that could change the world. That's when he discovered computer science and electrical engineering. Jeff dove in headfirst, creating projects that impressed even his professors, like a rudimentary home automation system that controlled lights and doors, something revolutionary for the time. He also stood out as a leader, being elected president of Princeton's Computer Science Student Association. In 1986, Jeff graduated with honors, earning degrees in computer science and electrical engineering, with grades so high that he was invited to join Phi Beta Kappa, one of the most prestigious academic societies in the United States. He was a brilliant young man with the world at his feet, and he went straight to Wall Street, where he started working at D.E. Shaw, an investment firm that used technology to predict financial markets. Jeff quickly rose through the ranks, becoming one of the youngest vice presidents in the company at the age of 28. He had everything: a high salary, stability, a life many would dream of. But deep down, he knew it wasn't enough. In 1994, Jeff Bezos was at the peak of his career at D.E. Shaw. He was 30 years old, had a dream job, and lived a comfortable life in New York. But something was bothering him. He couldn't stop thinking about the explosive growth of the internet. At the time, the internet was growing at a rate of 2,300% per year, a number he couldn't get out of his head. Jeff started researching and discovered that books were the perfect product to sell online. They didn't need to be tried on, had universal demand, and there were millions of titles available. That's when he had an idea. What if he created an online bookstore? A store that could offer millions of titles, far more than any physical bookstore ever could. It was a bold idea, but also a risky one. The internet was still uncharted territory, and most people didn't even know how to use it. Friends and family warned him, "Jeff, you're crazy. Why give up a secure job for something so uncertain?" Even his boss at D.E. Shaw, David Shaw, tried to dissuade him. David, who admired Jeff's talent, suggested he work on the idea in his spare time. But Jeff knew that wouldn't be enough. He needed to fully commit. To make the decision, Jeff used what he called a regret minimization framework. He asked himself, "When I'm 80 years old, will I regret not having tried this?" The answer was clear. Yes, he would regret it. But there was another factor that helped him decide. His wife at the time, Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie, a talented writer whom Jeff met at D.E. Shaw, believed in his dream. When Jeff shared the idea, she didn't hesitate. "I support you. Let's do this." So, in 1994, Jeff made the decision that would change his life forever. He quit his job, and the two of them drove across the country from New York to Seattle, a city he chose because of its growing tech scene and tax benefits, like the absence of state income tax. During the trip, Jeff wrote Amazon's business plan in the passenger seat, while Mackenzie drove. Jeff Bezos was ready to risk it all. In July 1994, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon.com in the garage of his rented home in Bellevue, Washington. He started with little. He used his savings and secured a $300,000 loan from his parents, who trusted their son's dream even without fully understanding the internet. "We didn't invest in Amazon because we understood the business," Mike Bezos later said. "We invested because we believed in Jeff." The early days were chaotic. The team was small, consisting of Jeff, Mackenzie, and a handful of hired employees. They used doors as desks, an idea Jeff had to save money, and worked late into the night to fulfill orders. Jeff was involved in every detail. He personally packed books and drove them to the post office, often working until the early hours to ensure orders were shipped on time. But there was an infectious energy in the garage. Jeff had a clear vision. He wanted Amazon to be the most customer-centric company in the world. A fun fact from those early days is that Jeff installed a bell in the garage that would ring every time an order was placed. On July 16, 1995, Amazon sold its first book, Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Douglas Hofstadter. The bell rang for the first time, and the team celebrated as if it were the greatest milestone in history. And in a way, it was. In its first 30 days, Amazon sold books to customers in all 50 US states and 45 countries, all without any advertising. Jeff's idea was working, and fast. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In the first few months, Amazon faced constant technical issues. The website, which was rudimentary, frequently crashed due to the unexpected volume of traffic. Jeff and his team had to improvise solutions on the spot, often working 20 hours a day to keep the site running. Despite the challenges, Jeff never lost focus. He knew that to succeed, Amazon needed to offer something physical. Bookstores couldn't. Convenience, variety, and low prices. By the late 1990s, Amazon was growing at a rapid pace. In 1997, the company went public on the stock market, raising $54 million and capturing the world's attention. But then came the crisis that nearly ended it all. The dot-com bubble burst in 2000. Dozens of internet companies went bankrupt overnight. Investors panicked, and the market turned into a battlefield. Amazon, which still wasn't profitable, saw its stock plummet from $107 to just $7 per share. Analysts predicted it would be the next to fall, and sensationalist headlines dubbed it Amazon.bomb. But Jeff Bezos didn't flinch. He knew success wouldn't come overnight. Instead of retreating, he doubled down. Bezos cut unnecessary costs, focused on efficiency, and above all, maintained his obsession with the customer. "If we keep putting the customer first, we'll survive," he told his team. He also made tough decisions, like laying off 15% of his workforce to reduce expenses, a move that left him emotionally shaken, but which he knew was necessary to save the company. While other companies vanished, Amazon emerged stronger. In 2001, the company finally had its first profitable quarter, earning a profit of $5 million. It was a milestone that silenced the critics and proved that Bezos' vision wasn't just a dream. It was a viable plan. The dot-com crash didn't destroy Amazon. It transformed it into a giant. And Jeff, who during the crisis faced sleepless nights and immense pressure, showed the world that his determination was unshakable. With the crisis behind him, Jeff Bezos began transforming Amazon into something far bigger than an online bookstore. He expanded into new markets: electronics, clothing, toys, and even groceries, with the 2017 acquisition of Whole Foods for $13.7 billion, a move that shocked the market and solidified Amazon as a force in physical retail. Amazon became a global behemoth, operating in Europe, Asia, and South America. And Jeff oversaw each expansion with meticulous attention to detail. But what truly set Amazon apart was its culture of innovation. Bezos created an environment where bold ideas were encouraged, and failure was seen as a learning opportunity. He introduced the concept of the empty chair in meetings, a constant reminder that the customer should always be the priority. This mindset led to revolutionary innovations. Amazon Prime, launched in 2005, which turned fast shipping into a standard with free 2-day delivery. The Kindle, launched in 2007, which changed the way we read books and dominated the e-book market. And Amazon Web Services, AWS, launched in 2006, which today is the backbone of the modern internet, powering services like Netflix, Spotify, and even the CIA. A curious fact about AWS is that it was born out of an internal need at Amazon. Jeff realized that his company was spending too much time and money building tech infrastructure to support the website, so he decided to turn that infrastructure into a service other companies could use. Today, AWS is Amazon's biggest profit driver, generating billions of dollars annually. Bezos also bet on futuristic technologies, like drone deliveries and artificial intelligence with Alexa, launched in 2014. Alexa, which started as an experimental project, is now in millions of homes, responding to voice commands and controlling smart devices. Jeff didn't just keep up with the future, he built it. Under his leadership, Amazon became more than a company. It became a way of life. At the heart of it all was Jeff Bezos' obsession with the customer. He believed that if Amazon always put the customer first, success would follow naturally. Bezos was known for reading customer emails and forwarding them directly to his team with a single instruction: fix this. A famous story within Amazon is that once, a customer complained that a package hadn't arrived in time for Christmas. Jeff read the email and, instead of delegating, personally called the customer to apologize and ensure the issue was resolved. That level of dedication became legendary, and it's why today Amazon is synonymous with convenience and trust. But Jeff's personal life had its challenges too. In 2019, he faced a public and tumultuous divorce from Mackenzie Scott after 25 years of marriage. The divorce, widely covered by the media, came after the revelation of Jeff's extramarital affair with Lauren Sanchez, a TV host. The scandal was compounded by an extortion attempt by the National Enquirer, which threatened to publish intimate photos of Jeff. he responded with courage, publishing an open letter refusing to give in to the blackmail and exposing the tabloids' tactics. The divorce cost Jeff $38 billion, making it one of the most expensive in history. But Mackenzie, who was one of Amazon's first employees and helped write the original business plan, emerged as one of the world's richest women and is now a renowned philanthropist. In 2021, Jeff Bezos stepped down as CEO of Amazon, passing the baton to Andy Jassy, a trusted executive who had led AWS. But his legacy is far from over. Today, Bezos focuses on new challenges, like his space exploration company, Blue Origin, which he founded in 2000, with the mission of making space travel accessible and colonizing space to preserve Earth. In July 2021, Jeff fulfilled a personal dream by traveling to space aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, accompanied by his brother Mark, an 18-year-old and an 82-year-old veteran, showing that space is for everyone. Bezos also dedicates himself to philanthropy, such as fighting climate change. In 2020, he launched the Bezos Earth Fund, pledging $10 billion to fund initiatives that protect the environment. Additionally, he created the Day One Fund, which supports homeless families and funds the construction of schools in underserved communities. Despite his wealth, Jeff is known for his simplicity in some aspects. He drove a 1996 Honda Accord for years, even as one of the richest men in the world, and even today maintains a relatively low-key lifestyle, except for occasional extravagances like his $500 million yacht. Jeff Bezos' story isn't just about building a company. It's about believing in yourself, even when the world doubts you. It's about risking everything for a dream and winning. Bezos once said, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret it, but I would regret not trying." That mindset took him from a garage in Seattle to the top of the world. So, if this story inspired you, if it reignited the fire within you, click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible journeys like this one. Because in the end, limits are meant to be overcome. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.